Everywhere I turn, someone is talking about ChatGPT and how AI is changing our lives forever. Today, I have got John Tilley from ZonGuru, who has some incredible insights about how AI is going to be impacting Amazon sellers when it comes to listing optimization and more. Awesome. So today I am joined by my good friend, John Tilley of ZonGuru. How you doing, John?
Hey, Kimberly, great. I'm doing excellent here in Los Angeles. So thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Oh, thanks for coming. Really great to get to catch up again.
It's been too long, It's been a Christmas and a little bit. So yeah, it's good to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone who doesn't know you or who hasn't heard your story, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got started in the Amazon space.
Yeah, sure. So I'm John Tilley, the co-founder and CEO of ZonGuru. Everyone here, if you don't know our products, we're really an operational tool suite for Amazon sellers and agencies. We have about 17 different tools, and we're specific to Amazon only. So marketplaces, North America, Europe, Australia, and India are the ones we connected with. And we've been going for some time. We launched back in 2016. So over the years we've built our tool set and really focus on the 80-20 rule. How do we find the most impactful data and visually present it to you as a seller in a way that makes the most business sense, so that it's impactful for your business, and obviously automate processes as much as we can. So everything from research to SEO to profitability analysis, etc. So that's ZonGuru in a nutshell. How it all started. I'm originally from South Africa. I was my initial career for a long time was in advertising. So working at some of the bigger kind of advertising agencies, both in South Africa and then in the UK and London, and then over here in Los Angeles, where I'm based now. So I had a long career for about 15, 16 years in advertising, but always wanted to start my own thing, and it was a challenge. I think jumping ship when you have a very intense career was quite difficult. But I ran into Amazon back in 2013, I think, at a conference in Vegas, and the penny dropped for me. I was like, this is something I can start and chip away at on the side. And at the end of the day, it's a product-based business that's extremely scalable versus selling my time. And so I made a point of focusing on that. And in 6 months, I was live with my first product, and within a year, I'd made enough revenue to leave my agency gig. Left the 9 to 5, and ran a private label Amazon business for a couple of years. And through that process, saw the opportunity on the software side. I think my business partner and co-founder is a guy called Adam Hudson, who you obviously know well, and is known quite well in Australia. And I think at the time, it still applies today, but I think specifically at that time, 2016, this idea of creating a product on Amazon was absolutely the best chance for us as individuals to be able to start something and build a scalable product business that could create a lot of financial wealth, and that opportunity was huge. But it's not it was being marketed as this quick get rich quick scheme, very easy to build a product, and certainly I think at that time it was easy to generate cash flow, but to create a truly scalable e-commerce business, of which Amazon would be one of your channels, wasn't being taught well. So Adam went ahead and started that with Reliable, and I started the software side because anybody who was learning how to do it needed the software. So that was our start, and quickly that became my full focus of building a technology company over the years.
Excellent. And I can say, as a ZonGuru user from the beginning, I've tried other softwares, and I have to say, kudos to you guys, because you have put together a suite of tools that is intuitive and user-friendly, and so many of the other tools out there, I struggle with. It's like I couldn't get them to work, and I just quickly abandoned them and hung my hat with ZonGuru, and it's done pretty well for me. So it's helped
Yeah,
me find some good products.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, yeah. Look, I think there's a few things there, right? One is, I truly, and still to this day, we stand behind this idea of the 80-20 rule, right? Which is like, how do we give you data in a way that is most impactful to your business, right? And we stay away from necessarily the shiny objects. So there's always shiny objects out there, but can they truly make a difference to your business? And if we can really focus on what's most impactful and then give it to you in the most efficient way, so that it moves the needle, that's where we really stand out. And so, when you see our tool and you can use it effectively and efficiently, and it visualizes the right kind of things for you as a seller, that's where it makes the difference. So that, coupled with a lot of our team members being sellers and understanding what us as sellers truly need to solve, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And I used to joke, because full disclosure, I did used to work for ZonGuru, but I've struck out on my own now. But when I was there, I would always joke, and our friend Kimberly French would just laugh at me because I kept saying, well, this is my favorite tool, but no, this is my favorite tool. And, my two favorites are definitely Keywords on Fire and Listing Optimizer. But the Listing Optimizer tool is what I wanted to focus on today, because listing optimization is so important. I've been really focusing on, you've got to get the clicks, and then you've got to get the conversion, and getting that conversion has to do with having a well-optimized listing. So just from a high-level overview, what are the most important things people need to focus on when they're going to optimize their listings?
Yeah, you're right. It's the heartbeat of your Amazon business, right? And your product is absolutely critical to your success, right? The choice of the product that you go for. But outside of the product, your listing is a huge part of your success as an Amazon seller, because if you don't maximize the potential of your listing, everything else that you do on top of that, whether it's sponsored ads or it's outside traffic or whatever you're doing to try and move the needle for your business, it's not maximizing its potential if your listing isn't fully optimized from an SEO perspective. So it is a critical piece, and the way to kind of really look at it is, what we call contextual SEO. Like I coined that phrase a while ago, but what we mean by contextual SEO is that you're optimizing your listing for a number of things. One is, you need to optimize it for the algorithm, right? So understanding, what are the various keywords that are out there that customers are using to find your product, and how to put that in your listing so that when you convert on a, either on a click or a conversion on a sale, that you're maximizing, the Amazon SEO juice for the algorithm, right? So that you can get as best organic ranking as possible. So that's obviously number one. Number two, which also plays into that, is optimizing your listing for customers. So when customers find your listing, it's manufactured in a way that it really appeals to what really makes a difference to sellers, and gives them the information they need so they can make the right buyer decision based on your listing, and your conversion rate goes up. So that's obviously number two. And then number three is just understanding, where are your competitors focusing, and are they doing, are they focusing in the right area, or where are the opportunities that they're not focusing that you could do differently, and beat your competition. So, those are really the three things from a contextual SEO perspective that you need to look at, when optimizing your listing.
Brilliant. And so how does the Listing Optimizer tool, which, I tell people this is definitely one of my favorite tools, because I've literally never created a listing inside of Seller Central. I've never gone into Seller Central outside of putting in my ASIN and my barcode information and uploading my photos. I've never gone in and actually written my listing in there because of this tool. So, your publish to Amazon feature is one of my favorites. But what are some of the benefits, and how do you use Listing Optimizer as a seller to really make and hit all of those 3 points that you mentioned?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great part of it, is that it's super efficient in terms of being able to create a listing and then obviously upload it directly from the platform right into Amazon, right? So it does like almost like a partial flat file upload into your Seller Central. So you literally don't have to go into Seller Central to upload the content for your listing. But what the tool does it's the architectural design of the tool really is into two main sections. On one side, it really is the ability to import the most relevant keywords out of our keyword generator tool, Keywords on Fire. So you have to pull in all of the keywords that you want to optimize your listing for, and then on the right hand side of the tool, you can actually, from a contextual perspective, you can add a few of your main competitors, up to 8 actually, but you can pull in a few competitor listings, which is really just a good touchstone, so you can understand how well they're optimized. So you add a few agents of your competitors. It pulls in all of the content, title, bullets, descriptions, back in search terms for those listings, and then it scores those listings based on how well those listings are optimized for the keywords that you've loaded, right? So you might get a score of 30,000, and it will tell you, hey, it's a score of 30,000 in the top 2% of all listings on page 1 for that buyer term. So it gives you a very good way of understanding how well your competitive landscape is optimized for the keywords that you're looking at. And then obviously you can create your own listing. And the goal of that is to create a listing that is best optimized for the keywords, but it also is better than all your competition, right? And so it's a great confidence builder, right? Because it's not, a lot of tools out there will just say, hey, great, these are the keywords, optimize your listing. But what this does is it shows you, it scores your listing based on how well it's optimized and your competitors. So you can see that you're at least stronger than anyone on page 1. And therefore, you're going out with the maximum potential for your launch, for your PPC, etc.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a game changer, being able to see your top competitors and what they have, not only in their listing that you can see if you went to their product listing page, but their back-end search terms. I mean, that is powerful. And I don't know that there's anybody else on the market that is providing that, because I've definitely seen some chatter, different people saying, well, how can I find that out? I'm like, ZonGuru, they can do it.
Yeah, no, it's the back-end search terms. It's always that that piece of curiosity for us as sellers. Like, what are people putting into their back-end search terms? Is my competitor putting my brand in there? Like, what are they doing there? Do they have some trick of doing things in that end that can help them with the algorithm? So at least being able to see what they put in there is obviously critical. And we've got a lot of experience around navigating Amazon's APIs, which are notoriously not easy to work with. And we found a way to be able to bring that in. So yeah, that is a unique feature we can put in the back-end search terms. And obviously, as we speak, the launch of our ChatGPT integration is the world's first, and is super unique in the space as well.
It is. And now I wanted to ask you, just as a broad overview, how is this ChatGPT across the board impacting listing optimization? And then how have you been able to, tell us how it works with your tool?
Yeah, look, I mean, ChatGPT is currently all the rage, right? And AI is nothing new. It's been around for a long time, but I think this ChatGPT launch is really moving the needle in terms of that tipping point where the use of AI in this way is going to be something that's going to impact our daily life. I think across the board, we're going to be using a lot more of this to really help us in our daily tasks and activities, right? So really think of ChatGPT as a simple way of requesting help with whatever it is. So they're a virtual assistant, but the important thing is you don't have to program it or give it programming language. It literally does it just based on simple logic that you give it in a sentence, right? So it is advanced technology that can help us in a bunch of different tasks, and obviously listing optimization is no different. So the trick with ChatGPT or any AI is what kind of quality inputs are you giving it, right? What are the prompts that you're giving it to perform its function? And that's why it really works well inside of ZonGuru, because we we prompt the AI with you know, the data that we've collected around the keywords and the, you know, finding the keywords that customers actually type into Amazon, and the keywords that you should be optimizing for your listing, you know, is a pretty big level of effort. And so we do that, and then we feed that to the AI together with product awareness, sentiment from reviews, a whole bunch of things that we've built inside of our technology. So we're giving it sophisticated prompts and inputs, and then telling it to come back with a listing. And right now what we're seeing is literally a listing that can compete with any listing on page one in literally under a minute. So you know, we track the performance of the AI versus some of those top listings that I talked about, and we see about a 36.5% improvement in the overall you know, optimization score from an AI listing versus the best sellers on page one. So it's significant, and it's you know, it provides a well optimized listing for the algorithm in a short amount of time. The good thing there is that you know, AI is never going to be a replacer for us as entrepreneurs or as experts. It's an additive, right? So it's helping us to perform tasks in a much quicker way, but then giving us the ability, hopefully, to bring our own expertise and creativity and flair to whatever that task is. So it moves us from kind of content writers into content editors. So literally you can go and you can generate a listing in under a minute, and then spend a little bit of time finessing that to get it to exactly where you want it to be. And then you can publish it directly to Amazon versus obviously, you know, spending, you know, a few hours writing that thing from scratch. So it checks all the boxes for us as entrepreneurs. How does it speed up some of our admin tasks, give us the ability to input our kind of entrepreneurial flair into it, and do that in the shortest amount of time so we can move on to other things?
Absolutely. I just went into one of my listings and used the feature to improve it. And it took me from, I think, in the top 4%. It boosted my optimization score by over 10,000, and I ended up in the top 2%. So, and it was beautifully written. You know, when it changed my bullet points, it was absolutely fantastic. So I'm excited to see what happens over the next few weeks and see how that impacts my conversions. So I'll let you know. But I'm really excited about how it's going to be powerful from the beginning stage. You know, if you don't have a listing, if you're absolutely a brand new product and starting from zero, how it's going to be able to improve the whole process. Because starting with that blank piece of paper is really challenging.
Yeah, that's it, right? Is I think a lot of things we talk about is you know, what's like white noise or writer's block or kind of these humps that we have to get over as sellers, and certainly listing is one of those humps, right? It can become a big obstacle, because especially if you're new and you're writing a listing, you know, understanding the challenges of writing content in the right way that works for the algorithm as well as for customers can be daunting. And at least in this case, it just gives you an amazing baseline that you can say, okay, I've got a baseline, let me work with this and get it further. And you know, as much as I know, that we meet countless of sellers who put all this effort into their product and getting it into this amazing place, and they're getting ready to launch on Amazon, and they kind of go in with a half realistic, you know, not well written, or you know, a half baked PPC campaign or half baked images, right? And so it's crazy that people actually even contemplate doing that. But this tool anyway will help to ensure that there's no half baked content going out there, that at least it's well optimized, so that when you launch, you know, you have the best shot at making an impact on Amazon and getting them to notice you, right? So it's a really critical piece of the business process.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, from that launch, you know, it's super important to make sure that you're really optimized for that algorithm, so you can teach Amazon what you are. You know, that's one of my big things is relevant keywords, making sure you're using the relevant keywords to teach the algorithm, in addition to appealing to the customer. So, and this tool definitely helps. Now, as far as AI, you know, everyone is talking about ChatGPT all over the place, but how do you think this is going to impact sellers? Is it going to make things more challenging? Are we going to have to really up our game if everyone's going to be able to use this type of tool to improve their listings. So it's almost like a given that you're going to be able to come out with great listings. What is that going to force us to do?
Yeah, I think across the board, whether it's Amazon sellers or anything in the space, I think it's going to force us as humans or as experts to up our game, right? And I think that's the beauty of technology is it's really forcing us as individuals to focus on the creative part and the way of taking it that little bit further than anyone else, right? So it might level the playing field in certain areas, but that gives you an opportunity to really stand out in others. So yeah, I don't think it's anything that we should be fearful of, and I think it's certainly, if you've got a listing that's created by AI, if you don't put your deep thought into how to kind of take that to another level, you're going to miss out on a huge opportunity, right? So again, it's just a baseline. So I think right now, hopefully more people will use it. It's yet to be seen whether Amazon's algorithm will start to notice AI written content and then handle that appropriately, however they best feel it should be handled. Obviously, right now in Google, if you just write something by AI, they have ways of scoring content to be able to see, hey, is this just literally regurgitated content from an AI, or is there a knowledgeable expert that's actually curated that content? So they look at authorship and your expertise as an individual. So there's ways that they can score that to ensure that it's not just purely AI generated content. And I think they might do something similar on Amazon as well. But I think at the end of the day, you can get a baseline, but it does take the focus of you as an individual to ensure that you've written that listing to appeal to your target audience, like understanding what motivates your audience and writing your bullets in a way that's not just optimized for the algorithm, but actually makes a difference with the user, where the right benefits are called out in the right way, and in the right order, and that you capture everything that you need in there to make the buyer decision as easy as possible. That takes experts' knowledge and putting in the work around understanding your audience and being creative around that, right? And the AI is never going to be able to do that. So it's forcing us to focus on the areas that we should be focusing on, right? Which is good.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I really have enjoyed chatting with you about this. I am super excited about how ZonGuru is going to be able to really change the game for Amazon sellers using ChatGPT for their listing optimization. So that's one of my big things. It's making sure your listing is good. So that's one of the things that I like to speak about. And I've got a checklist in the description if you want to check it out and make sure that you're ticking all the boxes and make sure your listing is good. And don't forget, in the description, I also have links to ZonGuru if you want to get a free trial and a discount to try out the ChatGPT listing optimizer for yourself.
Yeah, right now it's in beta. It's limited, so if you do want to try it as a seller, you either need to be a current customer or go through special links that our partners have. Obviously, Kimberly has one, so make sure you go through that link and you'll get access to the ChatGPT. And again, I think as sellers, the sacrilegious thing is to putting your effort into everything else, and not have a well-optimized listing that will maximize the potential for everything else that you're doing, right? So you've got to make sure that you have the best listing you can versus your competition, and you can just literally test that in a matter of minutes on ZonGuru. Even with your current listing, just go ahead and test that. Exciting stuff coming up, and for sure we're going to be implementing the ChatGPT into a bunch of our other tools as well, making it, again, trying to move the needle 80-20, most impactful, but doing it in the most fast, efficient ways possible. So we'll keep putting that into the tool as well.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll have to have you back and talk about some other topics in the future. This has been a lot of fun. It's great catching up.
great catching up, and yeah, some interesting stuff coming up. So let's get back together, because we've got some really cool things like session and conversion percentage coming into our dashboard, and things that matter a lot to sellers. So yeah, a lot more coming up.
Oh, I'm excited about that. Oh, I didn't know about that before, so now I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.